Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome into episode 5 of this little free agency series where we're taking a look at every single position of need for the New York Jets and coming up with lists of players that the Jets should be targeting in free agency. Okay, now I do know that it's not a top 5 list, this is a top 3 list. I didn't want to just put 5 in there for the sake of having 5. I honestly couldn't find 5 incredible fits, but I found 3 and then I have a little bonus one at the end. So with that being said, this one's all about the safeties, and traditionally I don't really like lumping free safeties and strong safeties together because at the end of the day they're not the same position. I don't really like doing that, but for the sake of this video it's all in one, so let's jump in. And I do quickly want to mention this as well. The reason why we're talking about safeties here is because both Marcus Maye and Bradley McDougald are set to hit the open market. All right, so in the case that we lose both, we lose one, whatever the case may be, say Jacksonville offers up a huge contract for Marcus Maye, the Jets are now out of luck and we have to fill both the free safety spot and the strong safety spot. So with that being said, the first safety on this list that I feel like is a perfect fit is Keanu Neal of the Atlanta Falcons. All right, 6'1", 215 pounds, played a lot of free safety. Funny enough, he was actually a college teammate of Marcus Maye, but look, Keanu Neal is an absolute defensive wizard, right? His defensive IQ is high. He's a very high hitter. A versatile player who can cover tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs out of the backfield. Just his defensive recognition is there, man. Like, you watch Keanu Neal on tape and he flies around the football field, right? You throw on a Falcons game, Keanu Neal, number 22, stands out, right? You know exactly where he is. He's always around the ball. I think he's a solid player. Now, he's dealt with some injuries. Actually, all signs were pointing to Keanu Neal being one of the best safeties in the National Football League, right? Based off of his production early in his career, he was a first-round pick coming out of UF. Everything was looking good, right? Athletic ability was there. He's definitely an NFL player, and then the injuries started happening. And let's not sweep it under the rug. He's dealt with some pretty serious stuff. Multiple knee surgeries, right? ACL. He had an Achilles issue as well. So Keanu Neal, when he's on the field, he's highly productive. All right, I would say his best overall trait is open field tackling. He's a vicious hitter, and he's coming off 2020, a completely healthy season, so that's a plus. All right, so again, if the Jets were to lose Marcus Maye, Jacksonville, whoever it may be, they say they want Marcus Maye, but they lose out on him, they don't want him back, whatever, his price tag is too high. Keanu Neal, I feel like, would be a fantastic insurance policy, and in some cases we could be even upgrading, right? Because let's not even though Marcus Maye's a Jet and we all want Marcus Maye to return, he's dealt with some injuries too, and he is older, right? Keanu Neal is 25 years old, not really in his prime of his career yet, and we've seen what he can do at the NFL level. It's just a matter of staying healthy. Neal is a perfect fit for what the Jets want to do on defense, right? That cover 3 free safety. He's a guy who can roam, he's a ball hawk, and he can come up and make necessary hits in the open field, right? Recognize when there's a wide receiver screen happening, right? Or a slip screen, or one of these instant checkdowns to the running backs. Really good over the middle of the field, and he played for the Atlanta Falcons under Jeff Ulbrich, Jets defensive coordinator, okay? Really, when Ulbrich took over in last season, after Dan Quinn got fired, Raheem Morris got promoted, Ulbrich got promoted too, to that defensive coordinator position. So again, pairing him up with Neal, they have that player to coach experience. Okay, so Keanu Neal makes so much sense. You're not going to have to shell out a ton of cash to get this guy in the building either. I do think the Jets, if I was running the New York Jets and we say we do lose out on Marcus Maye, or he's just asking for so much money, I would honestly give Keanu Neal more than what what the market is giving him, like maybe $3-4 extra million, just to be safe, just to get this guy in the building. He checks so many different boxes because we don't really know how much Marcus Maye is going to be asking for, but I think Keanu Neal's, you can get him in the building for, I want to say maybe $6 to $8 million, maybe $9 million annually. But at the end of the day, I do think age is on his side. That will benefit him within contract talks. So Keanu Neal is the first option. Player number 2 on this list is coming from San Francisco. It's Chikou Tartt, right? Strong safety, 6'1", 215. Tartt's had a pretty up and down career with the San Francisco 49ers. I feel like it's much like Keanu Neal. It's just a matter of staying on the football field. He's dealt with so many injuries, okay? But when Tartt has played, he's done really, really well. Now, he was never really considered like this guy could be dominant one day like Keanu Neal was, but he's still solid. He's still a great hitter. He's still a hard hitter that 49ers fans really, really like. But I feel like the issue with San Francisco is they need to get healthier, right? I feel like every single player or really position rather, that team has, they're dealing with some sort of injuries, whether it's cornerback, edge rusher, quarterback, the O-line. The 49ers to me are always kind of banged up. So I feel like San Francisco needs to get healthier, which means Tartt could hit the open market and come at a very, very cheap price. Flies around the football field. He's had a lot of production under Robert Saleh, Jets' new head coach, in that cover 3 system. Okay, so he fits the system. He knows the system. He's produced in that system with Robert Saleh. He plays strong safety. We don't have Jamal Adams anymore. Bradley McDougald could be hitting the open market. McDougald's 30. Tartt, I believe, is 28 years old. He could be an intriguing option. All right, again, if really the only negative, if the only thing that's kind of swaying our opinions here is injuries, I feel like the Jets have to take that risk because right now we're coming off of a 2-win season. And when we think about the safety position, injuries come to mind. Off the top of my head, Jamal Adams, a guy who almost seemed like an Iron Man, dealt with a ton of injuries in Seattle, banged up. Marcus May, bunch of injuries. Chikou Tartt, injuries. Who else? Eddie Jackson's dealt with some stuff in Chicago. Keanu Neal, we talked about it before. Safeties in today's league, they get hurt. They get hurt a lot, all right? So I feel like the Jets right now, when you're looking at a guy like Tartt, especially if Bradley McDougald just, parts way or, he ends up somewhere else, I think Tartt would, of course, be an upgrade over McDougald. He would be a little bit more expensive. And again, he knows and produced and is a great system fit. So I think Tartt makes a lot of sense. We just have to get over that injury hurdle. That's something that the Jets have to look at. They have to feel comfortable with before bringing Tartt in. But there's nothing wrong with a 1 or 2 year contract. Player number 3 on this list is actually one of my favorite players in the entire NFL. I really wanted the Jets to draft him back out of San Diego State. I love what he did in college. I thought he was going to be a highly productive nickel corner at the time. Senior Bowl guy, big hitter, versatile. It's DeMonte Casey of the Atlanta Falcons. 5'11", 190. DeMonte Casey plays with this moxie. He plays with this edge, this aggressive nature. And people have labeled Casey in the past as some dirty player. I wouldn't go that far. He's had some dirty hits. I don't think he's out there trying to injure players. I do feel like he plays aggressively. I think Casey right now is being so undervalued, so underrated, and he could be back with Atlanta next season. We'll see. But I think right now, Casey fits the system. He's exactly what the Jets need. From a versatile standpoint, he's played free safety. He's played strong safety, right? 2 years at strong safety, 1 year at free safety, I believe. And he's also played a bunch of cornerback in college. Okay, so he's been all around the secondary. And then you're factoring in his ability to take the football away from opposing offenses. 10 interceptions in 2 years as a starting defensive back for the Atlanta Falcons. Pretty intriguing. Okay, so he's a versatile guy. You can line him up at strong safety, nickel corner, free safety. He's a big hitter. He plays aggressively. He's shown the ability to take the football away. Does he fit the system? The answer is yes. Just like Keanu Neal coming over from Atlanta with Jeff Ulbrich, Jets defensive coordinator, Jets new defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris, Dan Quinn, Robert Saleh, Pete Carroll. It's the same system. It's the cover 3, cover 4 system. DeMonte Casey knows what the Jets want to do. He fits what the Jets want to do, and he's produced in what the Jets want to do on defense. So I think this makes a ton of sense. And last but not least, we have the bonus one, right? And this is the controversial one. This is the boom or bust. Some fans would really like the acquisition. Some fans would hate the acquisition. It's former top 15 pick out of Ohio State. One of my draft crushes, admittedly, Malik Hooker of the Indianapolis Colts, okay? Malik Hooker's career has been riddled with injuries. That's a fact. He dealt with injuries in college. He dealt with injuries at the pro level. He's dealt with a lot of them. He's a banged up safety. Okay, lower body stuff. It's not pretty when you're looking at his injury report. But when he's maybe it was just because I really fell in love with him at Ohio State. Again, he had injuries during his college career, and he only really had that one season where he was just dominant, where he was actually in the game playing. But he was absolutely incredible, right? His speed, his ability to close, right? To close to the football, just a true ball hawk. I remember leading up to that draft, I believe it was 2017. Jets were picking 6th overall. Leading up to the draft, I didn't think Jamal Adams was going to be there. I thought Adams was going to be the pick for Chicago. I think at the time they were picking 3rd. I remember I always had Adams going 3rd to the Bears or to the Titans, I think, with that 5th overall spot. So I was thinking, okay, Adams won't be there. If he is there, he's got to be the guy. And actually, you know what? I'll try to find that old video of the 2017 draft reaction to Jamal Adams. I think I had strep throat at the time, so I'll try to find that and leave it linked down below. But I remember I didn't think Adams would be there. I would love it if he was there. But Malik Hooker and Marshawn Lattimore were the two that I felt like the Jets were going to take, right? I really felt like the Jets were going to hone in on the secondary at the time. And I remember loving Malik Hooker. That's kind of who I wanted the Jets to get if Jamal was off the board. I was absolutely dead wrong with the whole Marshawn Lattimore thing. I remember liking Lattimore. I liked Lattimore a lot. I just didn't love him. So I think kind of where my mindset was, I didn't want to take a cornerback that I didn't love with a top 10 pick. So dead wrong on that, but I'm actually completely getting sidetracked here. Malik Hooker is a ball hawking free safety who's dealt with a ton of injuries. He has great size when he's played. He's looked good, not great, not dominant, not elite, but he's looked good. The thing that's really, really intriguing to me personally about Malik Hooker is his age. He's 24 years old. He still hasn't really entered his prime. If the Jets reach out on a 1-year contract, I would actually like I would like the acquisition. It reminds me so much of a guy who they did the same exact plan with in San Francisco, just at cornerback, Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett, ex-first round pick, really athletic. A guy who was productive in college when he played, productive with the Chargers when he played, but just always was getting hurt. And they took a chance on him. They gave him a flyer and they said, hey, you know what? We like what you did. You're always hurt, but we're going to roll the dice on a 1-year deal. Verrett goes on to miss 15 games in 2019. 15. They roll the dice again. 1 year, $1 million. Jason Verrett ascends to starting outside cornerback for the 49ers, opposite of Richard Sherman. Under Robert Saleh, we all know how much responsibility and importance the cornerback position has within this cover 3 system under Saleh. Verrett goes on to have a great season. I could see a similar thing happening with Malik Hooker, right? Just a cheap 1 year, $2 million deal, something along those lines. He is 24, so he does have age is on his side. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts on the safety list. I know it wasn't a top 5 list, but again, I didn't just want to put 5 in there for 5 and just like throw some random guys' names in there that don't really fit. These guys all fit, right? Malik Hooker obviously is kind of up in the air, but that's because he's the bonus. He could, but he couldn't. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for sticking with this channel. It really, truly means the world. And as always, go Jets.